Redis is the most loved database. Let's look at 5 reasons that make Redis Enterprise the best Redis provider compared to others. In today's world, everything is real-time. Let's say you're building a real-time application on AWS. What would this look like? You would need to use a combination of a number of different systems. You may want Kinesis to collect your data, then DynamoDB to persist the data, and Elasticache to quickly access frequently used data. And that's not all. You may want something like TimeStream for backend analytics, OpenSearch for searching, and the list can go on and on. But these are all different systems, and to make them all work together, you end up using a bunch of Lambda functions, simple queue service, maybe a few other services, and now you're dealing with a very complex system. A system that may also need multiple experts to manage each specialized piece. So now you have a slow, complex system that's expensive to manage. With Redis Enterprise, you can minimize all these complexities with a unified real-time data platform. For example, you can use the native features of Redis Enterprise, such as streams for collecting data, PubSub for distributing the data, lists for queuing, Redis time series for analyzing, Redis gears for ETL, Redis JSON for persisting the data, and Redis search for indexing. And this is in a single system. You don't need numerous experts to build and maintain it. What you get is a single, fully managed system that's blazing fast and cost-effective. Everyone knows Redis began as a caching database, but has since evolved into a primary database. Many applications built today use Redis as a primary database. Unfortunately, most Redis service providers only support Redis as a cache. This means you need a separate database like DynamoDB in addition to using Redis. This adds complexity, latency, and it prevents you from realizing the full potential of Redis. With Redis Enterprise, you can use Redis as both a caching and a primary database in a single system, thus eliminating the complexity and the latency of 2 separate systems. Not only that, you can also use Redis as a multi-model database. This allows you to build modern applications as well as low-latency microservice architectures all on top of Redis. You can also take advantage of native features of Redis Enterprise, such as streams for collecting and distributing data, Redis JSON for storing JSON documents, Redis search for indexing, Redis graph for relationships, Redis time series for application monitoring, Redis Bloom for gaming, fraud detection, and leaderboards, and Redis AI for real-time AI feature store and inferencing. All of this with auto-scaling, enterprise clustering, and active-active geo-replication. Most Redis providers simply host Redis open source and provide Redis as a cache, but they don't support Redis as a database. Not only that, they tend to lock your app into their cloud. If you need to move to a different cloud provider for any reason, you can't because the rest of your data is stored in cloud-specific databases and services such as DynamoDB, Kinesis, and countless others. If you need a multi-cloud capability and use multiple clouds at the same time due to constraints on the region's availability or specific business needs, you can't easily do that either. Lastly, if you need a hybrid cloud capability to store some private data on-prem while still using the cloud for the rest, it's going to be a struggle. You have lost all the flexibility, and now your app has become what's called cloud locked in. With Redis Enterprise, since all or most of your data is stored in a single system, you have the freedom to easily move from one cloud to another. Redis Enterprise is available on all major cloud providers, such as AWS, Google Cloud, Azure, and even on Heroku. So a multi-cloud deployment is a breeze. Not only that, Redis Enterprise is available as a downloadable software, so you can have a hybrid deployment where you can keep some of your data private in your private data center and keep the rest in the cloud. Redis Enterprise provides the ultimate flexibility in managing your data with Redis. In today's world, enterprise workloads can be very demanding. Enterprise customers demand low latency and fast failover with no data loss. This means enterprise applications need to be distributed globally while minimizing latency. You might think throwing Redis on top of your existing database could solve this problem. Unfortunately, that's not the case. This is because most Redis providers simply host Redis open source and provide Redis as a cache and not as an enterprise-grade real-time database. With 99.999% uptime, sub-millisecond latency, single-digit seconds failover, active-active georeplication, and no data loss, Redis Enterprise is the only Redis provider that can meet the demands of enterprise customers. For example, with Redis Enterprise, you can have multiple primaries spread across the globe and provide local sub-millisecond latencies for both reads and writes. And in order to avoid any write conflicts, Redis Enterprise uses cutting-edge active-active georeplication based on CRDT technology. Similarly, Redis Enterprise provides enterprise clustering, Redis on Flash, and many other features that cater to enterprise needs that you just won't find anywhere else. Have you ever spun up Redis with other Redis providers and been surprised at the cost? I know I have. These providers let you use Redis as a cache and get the performance gains with sub-millisecond queries, but they don't optimize Redis to minimize your costs. Even database solutions such as DynamoDB can be expensive and slower than Redis, with queries upwards of 10 milliseconds or more. You need a solution that keeps costs down while optimizing for speed. One great thing about Redis Enterprise is that even with all the added features, it starts at just $7 a month. While this is great for small and medium-sized businesses, unlike other providers, Redis Enterprise is optimized for performance and cost savings at scale. With Redis Enterprise, you can take advantage of Redis on Flash to store terabytes of data while keeping costs down and still achieving sub-millisecond queries. This results in up to 80% in savings versus Redis from other cloud providers. The Redis Enterprise is not only feature-rich and blazing fast, it's also cost-effective for small and medium businesses and large enterprises.